Every country has its moment. It's time to shine.
When the universe conspires, planets align.
Scotland invites you, our stage is set.
For one brilliant year we'll never forget.
A homecoming to celebrate all that we are. Countless events, parties near and far.
We welcome the world to come and to share, so you too can say, yes, I was there.
Good afternoon and welcome to the International Hockey Centre in Glasgow for live and exclusive coverage of the FIH Women's Champions Challenge 1. Match ahead of us today is Ireland against South Africa. We're at the semi-final stage and this is the first of two semi-finals to look forward to today. Let's see what else has been going on here in Glasgow today. So this morning we had the classification matches, the teams defeated at the quarter-final stages, and that brought an exciting match between Korea and the host Scotland. It finished Korea 3, Scotland 2, and then in the second classification match, Belgium ran out comfortable 4-2 winners over India. Ireland-South Africa is the feature match this afternoon, and that'll be followed later on this afternoon at 3:15 GMT, 4:15 if you're watching in the UK, between the USA and India. So the two teams just coming out onto the field of play just now, and it's my chance to remind you, as we do at the start of every match, that today's coverage is brought to you by Scottish Hockey and their event partners, Glasgow Life, Event Scotland, NCS, Ginger Grouse, Hero and the Government of Argentina. And we are grateful to the support, of all of the event partners in making it possible to bring you this live and exclusive coverage today. So joining me in the commentary box today is former international umpire Craig Madden. Craig officiated at the Seoul Olympics way back in 1988, sorry Craig, and since has taken up a career in the media and writes on the subject of Scottish hockey for the broadsheets here in Glasgow. Craig, welcome to the coverage today. How have you been enjoying the day's play so far?
Thank you, Jack, for these kind words. The play's been very interesting so far today. Scotland's game against Korea was quite a pulsating affair, and Scotland did very well. In fact, could have sneaked the game, but 5 minutes of lack of concentration gave Korea 2 goals within the space of 3 minutes, and that sort of killed the game off. Belgium were quite impressive against India, 4-2 win, as Jack has said, and that means that Scotland will play India for the 7th-8th playoff, and Belgium will play Korea for the 5-6 playoff.
I wasn't able to see the Belgium-India match, but was here last night commentating on India, where they showed a more resolute defensive performance against the United States, but lacked a cutting edge up front. Would the 2 goals this morning suggest an improved performance again from India?
Yeah, I think the issue with India is that it's a very young team, a lot of under-21 players, and the coach is clearly rebuilding for the future. Although they haven't perhaps had the best of results, I think the Indian team has improved both defensively, despite the fact they lost 4 goals today, but also, as you say, Jack, up front, they look much more dangerous as the tournament has progressed.
Well, a potential banana skin awaiting Scotland in that placings match tomorrow, and let's hope for the sake of the hosts that they are alert to the threat. So just before the national anthems, we can, and everybody here can, offer Our congratulations to Emma Smith, who is earning her 100th cap for Ireland today. A fantastic achievement for Emma. And you can see her there with the skipper, receiving her cap, and all smiles, and smiles from her teammates who look genuinely delighted for her. Great achievement to reach 100 caps for your country in any sport, and fitting that that should be acknowledged. Now the anthem for Ireland. Plenty of Irish support in the crowd today, and very well attended match. Now the South African national anthem. National anthem of South Africa. And just as the players complete the pre-match formalities, let's take a look at how these two teams reached this stage of the competition. So, route to the semi-finals. The United States, I think, is incorrect. I think there's a problem with that graphic there. So we'll take that off, and instead we're all human. These things happen, folks. Let's take a look at the lineup, starting with Ireland then. So there's the Irish squad that travelled here to Glasgow. Your starting lineup for today: Emma Gray in goals. Number 5, Sargent. Number 6, Emma Smith. Number 8, Nicola Evans. Number 10, Shirley McKay. Number 11, the captain, Megan Fraser. Number 18, Audrey O'Flynn. Number 20, Chloe Watkins. Number 22, Nicola Daly. Number 24, Catherine Mullen. And number 26, Anna O'Flanagan. And for South Africa, Marsha Cox, number 8, the captain. Number 10, Shelley Russell. Number 12, Dirkie Chamberlain. Number 13, Lisa Marie Dietlefs. Number 18, and the goalkeeper, Annelle van Deventer. Number 21, Lenice Murray. Number 22, Kathleen Taylor. Number 23, Bernadette Costin. Number 28, Kanita Bobbs. Number 29, Taryn Bright. And completing the lineup, number 30, Celeste Damon. So, We're ready for the first of the semi-finals here in Glasgow. It'll be Ireland to start us off at the pushback, going from left to right. A place in the final of the FIH Women's Champions Challenge awaits for the winner. Let's see how it goes with Ireland starting off. And the Centurion Smith gets her first touch of the game down this right-hand side. I'm sure there will be better touches to come. And South Africa with that familiar triangle at the back, with Lisa Marie Dietlefs anchoring the defence. She's had terrific presence in the centre of this South African defence over the last week or so. And on the basis of the match that these two teams played right at the start of the tournament on day one, which finished with a 2-all draw, Dietlefs will have her work cut out for her again today, Craig, because in that match Ireland came back first from 1-0 down and then from 2-1 down to earn a very good draw. Yes,
you couldn't fault the Irish for their courageous comeback on 2 occasions, as you say, Jack. The South Africans went a goal up. Anna Flanagan brought it back to 1 each. South Africans went 2-1 up in the second half, and Audrey O'Flynn tied it up at 2 each. It makes today's game really quite a fascinating contest. The styles are different between the two teams, but it would surprise me if there was more than 1 or 2 goals in this game. Of the two, however, I would say South Africa probably have had the more consistent performances. With they're the only unbeaten team in the tournament, with 2 draws and 2 wins, whereas Ireland have been perhaps a little bit more inconsistent. A couple of draws, a 3-1 defeat at the hands of the United States, but did very well to beat the world number 8 Korea 2-1 in the semi-final.
Shelley Russell showing some enterprise down this right-hand side and attacking the baseline. Taylor with the ball across the middle, and the shout there for the short corner from Dirkay Chamberlain. And it is given. Let's take a look at that again. So it's Taylor on the right, driving the ball in, Craig. And just a little touch onto the foot there.
A rather cheap penalty corner, but feet in the circle, and that gives South Africa an early opportunity in the first couple of minutes to gain a psychological advantage with an opening goal. So Marie Cox waiting with Dietlefs, who drags and shot just, perhaps just the outside of the post there, or maybe off the goalkeeper's stick. We'll get a chance to look at it again in a second, but Ireland have a break. And it's Evans down the right to Catherine Mullen. Mullen will get the long corner. We'll find an opportune moment to come back and have a look again at that short corner, but here's the Centurion Smith again. Ireland looking to break so quickly there from the restart. So Flynn back to Sargent, and Sargent plays it all the way across to McKay, and now Nicola Daly attacks the baseline on the far side. Shepherded out by Shelley Russell. Looks inside for Chloe Watkins, can't find her, and now Dammons has the chance to break, and it's Kathleen Taylor just unable to pick that ball up on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side. Let's take a look at that short corner again if we can. No, I'm just looking at the director, who's shaking his head ruefully. From my angle, I have to say, Jack, it was a cracking shot, and I distinctly heard a nick, which in cricket terms was probably caught behind, but perhaps South Africa a bit unlucky not to get a long corner.
Bernadette Costin with that distinctive gait marches down the left-hand side, leaves the ball to her skipper, Cox. Took this free hit, now drive towards the edge of the D. She's not picked up. Yeah, and she plays the shot in and comes off the rear end of the captain, Megan Fraser, there, unfortunately, and she's very quick to show the umpire the bruise on her behind, which to indicate that that ball was quite high coming into the D there. So the decision of the short corner is overturned. Ireland look to come out, but that long crossfield ball from Cliona Sargent just failing to find their target, and mishit there on the far side in the South African defence. Just momentarily puts Dietlefs under pressure, but they've found an outlet through Bernadette Costin, but she's lost the ball, and Emily Beattie has the chance to come back for Ireland. It's back to Watkins, and it will go all the way back to Cliona Sargent again. Now Audrey O'Flynn looking for the ball into the D, takes a big deflection up off the stick of Taryn Bright, and there's a chance here for Ireland, just off the foot of Emma Smith. An opportunity there, Craig. She just managed to wriggle free of her marker.
Yes, it was an opportunity, but unfortunately she committed an infringement. It's a good open first 7 minutes. There have been chances at both ends, and I just have the feeling the team that's going to win this is the team that's actually going to take some of these chances.
I think that probably goes without saying, but Taryn Bright now on the ball for South Africa. Just checks herself, looks for options. She looks for Murray back in defence, but she's misplaced that pass. Played it just before she'd looked up to see where her teammate was. And Ireland, through Anna O'Flanagan, can go to the line now, look for an opportunity. Just off the foot of the South African defender. Oh dear, and that's a terrible pass to the top of the D there by Emily Beattie, and it could have given South Africa a chance to break. As it is, it's back with O'Flanagan on the right-hand side. She lifts it in. Advantage played by the umpire. Just for that. Nothing coming of it, and Cliona Sargent just unable to control this ball on the South African left wing, and Evans can leave it to Terre Blanche now, who's on first involvement really in the game for Nicoline Terre Blanche, and she's just to work the ball into the box, and that's a great battle there between O'Flanagan and Cox, and unusually for Cox, she comes off second best. Okay, giving the ball away for Ireland, and a chance for Cox in, and now Evans, and that's a goal for South Africa, the first of the game. It came from the defensive error on the far side by Shirley McKay, and Cox and Evans combining with lethal effect, Craig, to give South Africa the lead. So there you can see Kathleen Taylor dispossessing the Irish defender, just playing Cox into space, Cox drawing the defender towards her. That gave Evans the freedom of the east end of Glasgow there, Craig, just to finish under goalkeeper Gray.
Yes, there have been unforced errors by both sides, early game nerves without doubt, but that really was a bit of a blunder by the Irish defence. But full marks to South Africa. They took their chance and they're one up.
Yeah, Shirley McKay just a little bit of a wayward pass there, right across the pitch from the far side over to us, just in front of the commentary position here. Maybe just a little bit rattled by that mistake that has undoubtedly cost her team a goal here. She's made of pretty stern stuff, Shirley McKay. I'm sure she will bounce back from that. But it has given South Africa a lead here. And we did say, Craig said momentarily, that a game as open as this has been in the first 10 minutes or so, the team that takes those early chances could give themselves a really good chance of winning the game. Now, Shelley Russell down the right-hand side for South Africa. Just slight mishit as she tried to pass the ball in. And that's a good ball out by Emma Smith. And she finds Catherine Mullen now down this right-hand side. Some space being created by Gillian Pinder, her first involvement in the game, as she takes up the attack on the right-hand side, plays it back into Mullen. Mullen can't get the ball into the D, and now South Africa have the chance to break. And Lillian Duplessis has released the leggy figure of Solette Damons down that right-hand side. Such pace, Craig, when she attacks.
Yes, she's a fantastic athlete. I watched her a year or so ago at Clydesdale when South Africa came along to play 5 test matches, and her pace, her determination, and was a feature of the game. She simply is able to outstrip players and causing all sorts of difficulty to the defence. The other player I'm impressed with is Shelley Russell. She was instrumental in the quarter-final defeat of Scotland.
She certainly was, scoring both goals, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, she scored both goals, but it was more than just that. Her pace, her sheer physical strength caused the Scottish defence all sorts of difficulties, and could well do the same to the Irish if she's on song.
Shelley Russell's directness causing the Scotland defenders problems in Thursday's match. Will she be causing the Irish defenders problems? She's on the ball now, and she shows great determination to keep possession there, and manages to release Bernadette Costin, who can look to play the ball back in across the D. Costin has the ball back. She'll probably try and looking to go back to Murray there, who was asking for the ball. Murray will take this ball from the side now, and Costin's back in the corner looking to dribble along the baseline. Can't get herself past the figure of Megan Fraser, the experienced Irish captain and driving force behind much of their play. Now, Dietlefs looking for Kanita Bobbs on that right-hand side, looking to start an attack down a different channel, unable to do so. But that's a loose ball again by McKay on that in that left-back position, just trying to lift the aerial ball from the side over Dirkie Chamberlain, and was unable to do so, and South Africa now have possession back, and Murray now anchoring that defence as Dietlefs takes a break and plays it to Taryn Bright, and then back out to the right-hand side, and Dietlefs out on that right-hand side at the moment, swapping with Murray. And sharp whistle by the umpire there, Craig. Enough's enough, she says.
Yes, and it's been quite a clean encounter up until this point. There's been a couple of fouls, but nothing to write home about. But I'm impressed by the start of the South African team. I know they're a goal up, but they've had the majority of the pressure. They've looked the more adventurous side in and around the circle, and it wouldn't surprise me if they managed to get a second goal fairly soon.
Just under 15 minutes into this first half. And McKay under pressure. And you fancy, Craig, that after those couple of early unforced errors by Shirley McKay, she's going to be targeted by the South Africans for the remainder of this half.
Yeah, it's a psychological one-up for South Africa. To gain an early goal is one thing, but when it comes from a mistake, it's psychologically a bit of a downer for the Irish. This happened to Scotland on several occasions.
Damon's on the edge of the... No. A lot of excitement on the South African bench there as Damon's let that one rip from the edge of the circle. Craig, I can only assume that was chalked off either because it was too high, too wild a shot coming into the box, or because it was outside the circle. It definitely wasn't outside the circle. We'll take another look in a second at that, but Ireland on the attack now, and they have the ball into the D, and there's a chance, and that's a high stick there from Murray. In fact, sorry, my apologies, it was Murray in fact, yes. So Ireland have the short corner. Let's take a look at this again. It's Catherine Mullen into the box, looking for Nicola Evans. And then Murray comes in with the stick almost in the face of Evans, and short corner resulting.
But the original foul was created by the South African defender. The ball came up off a stick, high off her stick, and that's what created the danger, and that's why it's a penalty corner.
There we go. So, a chance for Ireland to get back into this game. Short corner. McKay traps, and the shot, and it's a goal. The goal from Megan Fraser, the captain, and a very well executed shot, Craig.
Yes, perhaps a bit against the run of play, but it was a powerful drive which went into the net off a defender's stick.
In fact, it might have been the goalkeeper's foot by the looking.
It might have been the goalkeeper's foot or a defender's stick, but it made it impossible to stop.
Here it is again. So Captain Mullen with the injection, and Megan Fraser with the shot. Can't quite see whether that was the South African defender's stick or the goalkeeper's foot. Slight deflection though. So Megan Fraser with the goal that brings parity to this game. And the opportunity for us to look at that previous shot by Celeste Damon's probably gone, but let's make a mental note of that for half-time, Craig, and we'll have a look at it again then.
Yes, it's difficult to know whether it was given for dangerous play, although I can't see why, because it's a shot at goal, or whether the ball wasn't inside the circle. But like you said, Jack, it didn't look outside the circle to me, but let's have a look at it again.
We'll see it a bit later on. So Davids with that ball to the top of the D now, and Dirkie Chamberlain fighting hard. Slightly unconvincing kick away by the keeper there, but it does give Ireland the opportunity to come clear, and Smith's able to play the ball right up to Mullen on this right hand side. Mullen will leave it for Smith again. Two red-headed Irish players. Both fiery looking. That's a good drive forward by the captain Fraser, and looking there for Anna O'Flanagan just on the edge of the circle, doesn't find her, and there's a little bit of space just opening up on this left hand side if the South Africans can find it, but the ball down the channel to Davids doesn't come off, and Ireland clear. There's a couple of cheap turnovers there, and McKay now on the ball. Let's see if she's got the composure to release the ball. She does. Up to Nicola Evans. Evans will retain possession, and Anna O'Flanagan's in the middle, and Smith's available over on this right-hand side. The ball instead goes down the middle, looking for Mullen in the circle from Watkins. And it comes off a South African stick last, and Ireland will keep possession. Better passage of play this from Ireland. They look to build on that equaliser, but they'll need to guard against the pace and physicality of the South Africans as they break, and here's a good example of that now, as Kathleen Taylor fighting in the middle of the midfield against Watkins. Watkins comes off better on that occasion, but she's put her teammate under a bit of pressure, and Dirkie Chamberlain tries to capitalise as another turnover as she can't find Davids, and Terre Blanche then finally on this right flank, Irish right flank, just putting the ball out of play, and everybody can take a breather. So Flanagan on the ball, finds Smith inside, and Smith drives across. She'll look for Watkins in that little gap that opened up between Kelly Madsen and Marcia Cox, but Marcia Cox just showing her experience there and able to turn and take the ball, and now she can bring the ball away. And Evans now for Celia Evans, I should say, for South Africa, just herring on as a substitute down this left-hand side, and nobody spotted the run. She's now lurking about the goal line, and Davids will have the ball and will be able to drive it in, and there's Evans now looking for the ball. Kathleen Taylor just unable to find her as the first player there in the D, but here's Evans again, and Evans will try and find Taylor this time. Doesn't find Taylor, ball skirts past Kelly Madsen and out on the far side. And a breathtaking few minutes, Craig.
Yes, the Irish have come back into the game, as you said, Jack, but it's a bit of a carbon copy of the first game, where South Africa went ahead and Ireland came back to make it one each. There's a very similar scenario taking place here.
Yes, a similar pattern of play to the opening match of this Women's Champions Challenge that saw these two teams play out a 2-all draw, if you're just joining us. South Africa with the ball. Nicola Evans adjudged to have fouled Marsha Cox there. And Terre Blanche can play to Taryn Bright, who can find Shelley Russell, who's back on down this left-hand side. Evans calling for her at the baseline. That's off a leg, surely. Yes, it is indeed, and that will be a short corner to South Africa. Great directness again from Shelley Russell there, Craig. We talked about it earlier on in the half, and another great demonstration of the rewards that she can get for her team when she just plays with such physicality and directness towards the baseline.
She just puts her head down and drives into the circle, and it's almost impossible for the Irish defence to stop her without actually fouling. And that's what happened on this occasion. The ball came off her leg. Good reward for a good run.
So the South Africans take their time in their huddle, and again it's Murray and Cox and Dietlefs at the top of the D. Evans with the injection. This time Dietlefs leaves it to Cox, and there's a good shot aimed right at the far right corner of the goal from Cox, but the Irish defenders doing just enough there. And now Ireland have a chance to break. And it's Katie Dillon on that far side, laying the ball off. And now Emily Beattie has a chance to dribble. She'll have to turn back though. There's space on this right-hand side. And the Irish spread it all the way across, and McKay's swapped sides. She's on the right now. Pinder just unable to control that. Helped out by Naomi Campbell. And by McKay. Carroll, sorry, not Campbell, my apologies. Carroll still on this right-hand side, and she's looking for the ball from Pinder, and Pinder looks for the cheeky little aerial chip. She finds her, and now there's a chance to drive towards the D and go across, but Marsha Cox using her reach, well, unfairly according to the umpire. And in fact, she's going to be just called back. Everybody retreats the required distance. Emma Smith will have to take this from the correct position, and she does, and she goes back to Megan Fraser, the captain. Fraser, that's a lovely little step over Celeste Damons and a step inside Taryn Bright, and then unfortunately, just at the crucial moment there with the miss hit, Craig.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate because South Africa took advantage of quite a good free hit outside the circle, but unfortunately it came to nothing.
Shelley Russell starved of options there and puts the ball maybe slightly needlessly out of play. And McKay now on this right-hand side for Ireland will send the ball all the way back to Clina Sargent, and Sargent will spread the play across. But again, in that left-back position for Ireland, they give the ball away cheaply again, and it gives South Africa the chance to come back at them. Just over 12 minutes to go in the half, 1-1. And now Terre Blanche on the right-hand side, going towards the baseline, looking to play it across. Nothing doing. Sharp blast of the whistle from the umpire, Maggie Giddens from the US. And that's a green card, it seems. Craig, what did you see there?
It was a bit of a robust attempt at a tackle, but given the game has flowed quite well up until this point, she's been a little bit unfortunate, I think. But she's only going to be off for 2 minutes, so perhaps the South Africans will not miss her too much.
So Kathleen Taylor in the sin bin for a couple of minutes. And Ireland have the advantage, the numerical advantage anyway. And O'Flanagan comes inside, takes a shot. Oh, and goes wide. And it was Katie Dillon who was in there at the near post, just lurking about. Great play by Alison, Anna O'Flanagan, stepping inside her man and her marker and finding that space in the D for the shot. Possibly could have done better, should really be getting it on target from there, you would say.
Yes, possibly, but she did well to turn the defender and rather than look for obstruction and perhaps a penalty corner, she went on to have a shot which unfortunately wasn't on target. A little
use of the elbow there by Celeste Damons. Gives possession to Ireland. McKay, who's swapped sides again, back onto that left-hand side. And that allows Michelle Harvey here on the right to swap with her. That ball was out of play. as our cameraman has just helpfully reminded you all at home. I don't know if you heard that. Dirkie Chamberlain now on the ball for South Africa. And leaves it to Bernadette Costin. Costin goes to the baseline. Come off the South African foot first. And Ireland can bring it away.
But South Africa are causing a lot of problems down their left-hand side as they attack. And they've created several circle penetrations.
And Shelley Russell now leaving it to Costin. Costin will look for Cox inside. Cox maybe just a little bit flat-footed, but she still gets it to Damons, who swings, misses, and collapses in a rather inelegant heap on the ground. So a couple of substitutions for Ireland. Megan Fraser, the captain, is off at the moment, and Audrey O'Flynn is on, as is Nicola Daly, who you saw in the centre now. The ball into the circle again from South Africa. Ireland just under a little bit of pressure, and Michelle Harvey able to play it away to safety on the far side, but South Africa now probing away at this Irish defence. And on that occasion, Shelley Russell runs into a brick wall.
The game has flowed very well from end to end. Sometimes South Africa have the advantage, sometimes Ireland. But
oh, chance now for Ireland. McKay with a long ball up, and it's Katie Dillon in the area. She's got a chance. She had a chance to shoot. The chance is gone. She's been closed off by the South African defence, and that an absolutely enormous opportunity for Ireland to do something there. Just the reaction time just not quick enough to make the most of the space, and Damons can lay it off on this side to Chamberlain. Chamberlain unable to do anything with it. I don't know if we can see that again. We might be able to see it again. Aerial route this time for Ireland. And it's Mullins now for Ireland. Mullins for Ireland down the right-hand side and finds Nicola Daly. Ireland will keep possession. Here's that replay again. Huge chance in the middle. Katie Dillon in all kinds of space. And in actual fact, in the end, the defence from Kenita Bobbs was excellent. She really just, she didn't panic under pressure.
no, it was a good tackle. She nipped the ball, the South African defender nipped the ball off her stick. An opportunity lost, but a good example of excellent, calm defending.
A better ball, the long ball into Katie Dillon from Shirley McKay, and a better example of what McKay's capable of. And I'm sure what her coach, Darren Smith, will be expecting from her. Now Ireland with the ball again. And on that occasion, Mullen just unable to hold their balance in the baseline long enough to get the ball in. Plenty of opportunities for Ireland. They're just starting to find a bit more space around the circle. You can just see again Katie Mullen, the ball just behind her, just unable to hook the stick round the ball and get it back. But Ireland still have possession, and here's McKay now with the ball. That distinctive bandage round her head, which came from an injury in the other fixture, the pool fixture against South Africa in that first match. And the bandage round the knee, which was another blood injury that was that forced her to leave the field. I remember that one particularly because she wasn't very happy with the decision of the umpire to force her off. I think there were a few choice words spoken on the touchline.
Yeah, she's certainly been in the wars.
She's been in the wars, hasn't she? But full of running, full of fight, really epitomises the Irish determination when they are behind to get back into matches. Just over 5 minutes to go, Craig. I suppose that brings up the subject of Ireland. Really, they've come back twice in the pools to earn draws, where the opposition perhaps could have felt like they'd pushed on and won it. but there comes a point where you have to stop going one down before you find, you know, enough in the locker to bring it back. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, Jack. It's a little bit of a dangerous tactic, if indeed it's a tactic at all. And they did exactly the same thing against Spain when they came back from two down.
Yeah. I'll just interrupt you here because South Africa have an attack, and du Plessis trying to drive it into the box. Terre Blanche with attempt to, now that's going to result in a card. That's unfortunately just a little bit petulant from Terre Blanche there, and that will be a green card for her. She's not happy about it, but really almost like an instinctive reaction there by Terre Blanche as she ran past the ball, for which was sitting waiting for the Irish free hit.
Yeah, she might be unhappy about it, but she didn't need to touch the ball in the first place. I don't think she's got anything to complain about at all. My only comment would be it's totally needless.
It was almost like a sort of involuntary muscle spasm. See a ball, must hit it. Anyway, she takes her 2 minutes in the sin bin. A chance for her to get her breath back, and she'll come back out for the assault in the last 2 minutes of this first half, I'm quite sure. Now Kathleen Taylor looking to drive it across. Du Plessis has it in the area, tries the reverse stick shot, goes high and wide.
That was
half a chance there, Craig.
Oh, that was more than half a chance. At this level, that should at least have been on target rather than almost reaching the car park.
We saw the effects of the balls reaching the car park yesterday with when the Belgians were warming up pre-match before their game against Spain, and one of them rather helpfully put the ball over the fence and through the rear windshield of our director, Seth Edwards, which resulted in a swift visit from an unnamed glass repair firm, and we're led to believe will also result in a nice signed shirt from all the Belgian ladies as by way of apology. So, South Africa now through Shelley Russell again, that distinctive style of hers, head down, barreling forward towards the defence. So effective. And as has been proved on a number of occasions this week, difficult to defend against. Now, it's Kathleen Taylor on the edge of the D, just looking to turn and tuck it into du Plessis, unable to, and Mullen now able to take this out from Ireland, showing good strength against Celia Evans. Two Evanses on the pitch. And Nicola Evans for Ireland, of course, and Celia Evans for South Africa. Good strength by Mullen, Craig. She's seen a lot of the ball in this first half. Yeah,
the defender, South African player, that was a little bit lucky still to be on the pitch. It was quite a deliberate breakdown.
Terre Blanche is out of the sin bin and back on the pitch on this left-hand side. And du Plessis had options in front of her. Now that's careless from Watkins, and it gives the ball to Marsha Cox. She'll wait for support on this left-hand side. Taryn Bright's coming up behind her and can find Terre Blanche on the left. And Terre Blanche now with the chance to play it into Evans, and Evans will look to play the ball across the baseline, along the baseline, looking for the leg, looking for the short corner. Good defence by Ireland, good disciplined positioning by the Ireland defenders, and Murray now for South Africa will play it all the way back to Dietlefs. Dietlefs will take it out to Marcel Manson. I think this is the first we've seen of Marcel Manson this half. Manson finds du Plessis. Du Plessis miscontrols, and Shirley McKay will have time to pick her options. Just over a minute to go in the half. Still 1-1. And now Mullen has the chance to turn Murray. She's done so. She gets us penalised there by the umpire, Craig. I thought she was rather unfortunate there. I thought there was a little bump in her back as she went through, but...
Yes, I'm a bit surprised at that decision, I have to say. But she wasn't really in a particularly good goal-scoring position at that moment in time, but... Anyway,
I think maybe just looking at the replay there, the umpire judged the South African player to have got to the ball first. And in actual fact, the push came from Mullen rather than on Mullen. So Shelley Russell, the self-pass out on the right-hand side. She lifts the ball to Cox. And Megan Fraser too close to Cox there as she received that aerial ball. So it'll be a free hit to South Africa. Cox turns and tries the first time ball into the D. She mishits it. And Duplessis unable to make anything of it. Nana Flanagan has the ball now. Just lays it back to Mullen. She'll look for it again though. Mullen looking at the clock, tries the direct ball into the D. Comes to nothing as the hooter sounds and the teams walk off. Well, it's certainly not been a dull first half of hockey. There's been plenty to get excited about, plenty of good attacking, open play. I've been quite impressed with the attitude of both teams, Craig.
Yes, I think the first half has been a very even affair. Both teams have had periods of possession, control, and opportunities to score. Despite the fact there's been 2 green cards, it's been an open and fairly evenly fought affair. I think the umpires take some credit for allowing the play to flow. That always helps. But honours even at half-time, and I would think also possession even at half-time. So, as the usual cliche, all to play for in the second half.
Indeed. So we'll take a short break here in Glasgow and hear a message from a couple of our event partners here. Of course, Ireland and South Africa will be both taking part in the Commonwealth Games coming up at the end of July. And here's a couple of tasters of what everybody can expect coming to Scotland over the rest of the summer. Here at the International Hockey Centre at half-time, it's Ireland 1, South Africa 1.
The buzz is just unbelievable just now. It's back in my hometown in Trin, everybody's talking about it, and just hopefully I can be part of that Scotland team, and if I am, it will be a memory I'll never forget.
Since joining Scottish Gymnastics to compete at the Commonwealth Games, it's going to be my first Commonwealth Games, and no better place to do it than in our home country.
Commonwealth Games are really the only time you get to represent like Scotland on its own, and yeah, it's really special. It's like your own little family really when you're on the team. Go Scotland!
Do you know what? I don't think there'll be anything to beat it. You know, I competed at the London Olympics and that was really special, but Glasgow I think will just be something else. Go Scotland!
It's very important to have the backing of the community, the country and that. I'd like folk to get behind you and enjoy what you're doing and appreciate what you do, and that's what I hard work's for. Go Team Scotland!
I think it's really important that people back Team Scotland. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for everyone to come together and support the team.
There's obviously going to be a great buzz around the city, and we're really looking forward to having these spectators come out and see netball. Netball's not one of the most profile sports that we've got here, so we're really looking forward to seeing how we can really engage with the spectators and show what netball's all about. Go Scotland!
Oh, the support will be huge. If everyone turns up, it's going to be a great atmosphere. There's nothing better than playing on a badminton court with the whole crowd welcoming behind you. It's a really great feeling, and I really hope to experience it.
Being from Glasgow myself, nothing more that you want to do in your career. Homegrown, in your city, all your friends, family can all come and watch. There's nothing really more you want. Go Scotland!
Being in judo, it's an individual sport, but when you're in that fight and if you're down the score, if you just need that extra lift. With Glasgow 2014 coming up and the massive Scottish team that we're going to have in Glasgow, it feels like a family. Go Scotland!
It's a huge honour and it's a pinnacle of anyone's career. I was fortunate enough to play back in Melbourne a few years ago now, where the whole experience was incredible. I'm sure that Glasgow can look to emulate that.
The atmosphere in Delhi was great, even when we're halfway across the world. So to imagine what it's going to be like in Glasgow when we're in front of a home crowd, it's going to be Twice as good. Go Scotland.
This will be my first games and it'll be a home game, so for me it's, as much as it's a cliche, it will be a dream come true, and just to have that support and to have my family and friends support me at home games, it means everything to me. Go Scotland!
Every country has its moment. It's time to shine.
When the universe conspires, planets align.
Scotland invites you, our stage is set.
For one brilliant year we'll never forget.
A homecoming to celebrate all that we are. Countless events, parties near and far.
We welcome the world to come and to share, so you too can say, yes, I was there.
So welcome back to the International Hockey Centre in Glasgow, where in the first of our semi-finals in the Women's Champions Challenge 1 at half-time, it's Ireland 1, South Africa 1. South Africa taking the lead in the 8th minute through Celia Evans, and Ireland equalising through captain Megan Fraser in the 16th minute. Craig Madden's still with me here in the commentary box, and we were saying just before the break there, Craig, a very even half. And quite an exciting half as well.
Yes, it was. I would say it's probably the best game of the competition so far. Normally the first half are quite cagey, and there's a little bit of nerves and some poor tackling, etc. But this game's flowed from end to end, and there's been a number of chances for both sides. And there's been a mixture of some good defending, some good interceptions at the back, but also perhaps opportunities missed by players of both sides. And if it was 3-3, it might not be too surprising, but one each it is at the moment.
Well, we'll have a look at a couple of those incidents now, and Craig, we can have a look at the first goal. This was the opener for South Africa, and it came from a mistake by Shirley McKay. Kathleen Taylor releasing Marcia Cox. And Marcia Cox doing really well. We can see from another angle here, the ball in from Taylor, and Cox in acres of space, and she draws all three of the defenders towards her, and that opens up the space there for Celia Evans to finish for South Africa. Really fantastic opportunism by South Africa there. Fantastic opportunism, I say,
yes,
by
indeed.
South Africa there. They really took that chance well.
Yes, they did, and it was just rewarded at the time for their efforts.
So the lead lasted approximately 8 minutes, and then Ireland equalised. We can take a look at that goal now. So it was a short corner, Craig, and talk us through this.
Yeah, it's a great shot to start with, and it ricochets off. I can't quite make out whether it's the goalkeeper's foot or the defender's stick.
I think we'll take a look at it again.
Or a combination of them both.
We'll take a look at it again from camera 1 or 2, just to have a look at that deflection again. Certainly was a powerfully enough struck shot by Fraser, the captain.
Yes, it was almost impossible to defend, actually.
We'll slow it right down. That's off the stick, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely off the stick of the
stick
defender.
of Murray, unfortunately, and I think you can tell from her reaction that she's frustrated not to do better. Although I have to say, had she stopped that, it would have been a world-class bit of defending.
The other one that we were looking at, Jack, just while we were replaying things, was the opportunity at the far end of the pitch for South Africa when her shot was disallowed.
Celeste Damon's shot.
Yes.
Yeah, let's take a look at that now, Craig. We can see it on the screen in front of us.
Have a look at it. The first key factor, is it inside the circle? And it's right on the circle line, in my opinion. Now, unless the umpire has considered it to be dangerous, but a shot at goal, I think the South Africans were particularly unlucky.
Is there possibly a foul in the middle between
I'm wondering
the
whether
two defenders?
I'm wondering whether there's a push or There's
a push
certainly
on,
a
there's a
push
push on
on
Shirley McKay, isn't there?
Yes,
Just
there is a
before the
push,
shot's
and-
taken. Here it is from the slightly wider angle. So you can see here Celeste Damons. Shirley McKay gets a little push in the back there from Shelley Russell. There's nothing in the middle that would suggest anything.
No. I think my opinion is that the umpire has picked up that push, and that's why she's disallowed the goal. Nothing happened after the ball passed these two players, and perhaps it was the correct decision at the end of the day, but the ball was certainly inside the circle.
It certainly was. Nothing wrong with the shot that we could see. If you see differently at home, please do tweet us. A reminder that we'd love to hear from you, hear your comments on this game or any of the other games you've watched over the last week. And you can reach us at FIH_hockey. And the hashtag, as you can see on your screen now, is CC1. So do tweet us, let us know what you think of that opportunity and the other goals in the first half. It's 1-1 here. South Africa have us underway in the second half. Dietlef's on the ball. It will come out to Manson on the right-hand side, and delighted to have Craig with me for the remainder of this match. How do you think the coaches, the respective coaches, have reacted at half-time, Craig? What do you think they've been telling their players?
I think of the two coaches, my guess is that the Irish coach will be happier to be on level terms at half-time. But as far as the South Africans are concerned, they've created a lot of power play, but I would have thought that the South African coach will be saying, you've got to put some of these away. Otherwise, the game's going to end up in the stalemate that it's in at the moment.
So just while play oscillates between these two teams, I'll run you through the starting lineups and goals for the starting lineup, I should say, at the start of this second half. Van Deventer in goals for South Africa. And then in defence, Murray, Dietlefs, Marcel Manson, Cox in the middle of the pitch with Taryn Bright, Shelley Russell currently on the right wing with Solette Damons on the left, and then we're looking through the middle at Kathleen Taylor and Dirkie Chamberlain. So that's the South African team. Ireland have a chance to push towards the circle there, and there's a foul just outside the circle, and struggled to see if there was any advantage there for Ireland, Craig, but there was certainly a number of Irish bodies in the circle, so good pressure from them.
Yes, I think the umpire was maybe a little bit too quick in the whistle. She could have waited to see what transpired in the circle rather than blow.
Here's a chance now for Ireland, though. Oh, Anna O'Flanagan, a great ball in by Shirley McKay to the top of the D, and Flanagan doing well to turn Dietlefs there. Not an easy task at the best of times. She found the space, and then I don't know if it was a shot come cross, but just dragging it wide, and it's over to the far sideline for South Africa.
Yeah, it wasn't a cross, that's for certain. It was a complete miscue, in fact. It went almost sideways. That's the danger sometimes with the reverse stick hit, that it can be a very powerful instrument if executed properly, but the danger of mishitting it is quite high.
Good chance again, though, for Ireland. That's two opportunities to get at these South African defenders in the early stages of the second half. And it's Ireland again with the ball now. And this has been a feature of their games. They've come out all guns blazing in the second half. And O'Flanagan really doing well to get into the circle there. She's won the free hit just outside. And she acknowledges her teammate there, Nicola Evans, and perhaps acknowledging that she should have released the ball a little bit sooner. But nonetheless, another good drive by Anna O'Flanagan, and seen a lot of positivity from her throughout the game, Craig.
Yeah, she powered her way past about 2 or 3 defenders, passed the ball in the circle, and if the umpire maybe had held a whistle again, we could have had a good opportunity to create a goal.
Umpires today, Maggie Giddens from the US on the left-hand side of your picture, and in the far corner where the ball is about to be spread out towards Murray. And on this near right-hand side, Chen Hong from China. So Dietlefs now with the ball for South Africa on the right-hand side, and looking for Duplessis, finds her. Duplessis just tucked the ball almost between her legs to Shelley Russell. Dirkie Chamberlain's doing really well to win possession back for South Africa. Watkins under pressure now. Where's she going to go? She's going to go back to Shirley McKay. Shirley McKay's going to evade the... I was going to say evade the interests there of Du Plessis, but the ball comes off McKay's foot. And it's going to be South Africa's ball. Shelley Russell just taking that from the wrong position there, pulled back by the umpire. In fact, he's saying the ball should be from the side, which would suggest she thought the ball had gone out of play. What a lovely turn that is from Naomi Carroll. Just can't quite follow it up with possession, and Celeste Damon's able to step in. She takes a break, and Celia Evans is back on for South Africa. So Shirley McKay, and I'd say, Craig, that Shirley McKay's recovered really well from that couple of lapses in concentration, and that lapse in particular that cost the goal in the first half.
Yes, it's a difficult psychological thing to recover from, particularly when you give a goal away so early in the game. But she's stuck to her task, to be fair to her, and she's making a very positive contribution.
Certainly is. And she'll be called into action once more in a couple of seconds now as Du Plessis looking for the ball down the wing. It's actually cut out by Emily Beattie before it reaches McKay, and Watkins will have the chance now to look up and pick her spot. She looks to go for the ball through the centre to the D, trying to pick out Naomi Carroll. Carroll nutmegged by Shelley Russell, but Emily Beattie again winning the ball back for Ireland, and it's turned into the D by Katie Dillon. That time, Naomi Carroll just getting her stick nice and low, blocking the attempted clearance by Shelley Russell. Really good start to the half this by Ireland, and they're getting in amongst the South African players. They're making their presence felt. And, South Africa just looking a little rattled. McKay again looking for that direct ball into the D. Doesn't come off this time, and Taryn Bright can bring it away. Dirkie Chamberlain's just looking for the first time layoff into the path of Du Plessis down this right-hand side. It doesn't come off for her. The Irish under no particular pressure there at the back, conceding possession. And now South Africa have the chance through Evans to drive at the baseline. Got the long corner, which will be taken by Bernadette Costin. And Evans now turns into trouble. A little bit of scrapping about there in the corner results in an Irish ball.
The last 4 or 5 minutes, South Africa have been put under quite a bit of pressure by the Irish and seemed unable to get the ball out of their defensive area until just about a minute ago.
Yes, indeed. It's been all Ireland for the first 5 or 6 minutes of the half. South Africa now playing quite a high press up to the Irish line. Du Plessis, Taryn Bright, Dirkie Chamberlain and Celia Evans all up at the 23 or inside the 23, and supported by Bernadette Costin and Terre Blanche in the middle. And really the back three for South Africa rather isolated. That's very good work by Dietlefs there to just turn away from trouble. Finds Cox. Cox will take the route down the touchline on that left-hand side for South Africa, and that's a good ball through by Evans there. Finds Du Plessis. Du Plessis looking for the ball across the box, and just runs out of play. Can't quite find Terre Blanche with the ball across the goal, but just following that pattern in the first half, Craig, it's very open, it's very attacking.
Absolutely, and I think both sides take a lot of credit for trying to play attractive attacking hockey. Maybe there's only 2 goals in the games, but there's been plenty of opportunities to increase that tally. It's really quite an exciting game, which could go either way.
It's a sore one on the knee of Celeste Damons there. Apologies if I've lapsed into Damons a couple of times. Celeste Damons just taking a rap in the knee from Clina Sargent. Just interesting change in tactic though, Craig, from the South Africans, just playing that high press up inside the 23, and see if that creates any space for the Irish coming forward. It starts with Naomi Carroll trying to exploit the space, but again, Marcia Cox there cleaning up for South Africa. The ball down the right-hand side was intended for Solette Damons from du Plessis, and she just acknowledges her teammate and apologises for the waywardness of her pass. There's another wayward pass, but it's going to be an Irish ball out on the far side. And it's Nicola Daly with the ball. Daly again, looking inside for Mullen. Mullen turns well and drives into the circle. Chance for Ireland. Should be a goal, and is. It's a great goal for Ireland. And it's Evans, Nicola Evans with the goal. Fabulous bit of play by Mullen down that right-hand side. Cutting in along the baseline and then just able to pick the ball across. Finds Evans, and all of a sudden we have a match on our hands here, Craig, because the score is now Ireland 2, South Africa 1.
That was a brilliant piece of play by Evans right along the baseline. She put a tantalising little cross across the circle, but I have to say that the South African defence simply stood like statues. They can only question themselves how they allowed such a soft goal, really. That's not taking any credit away from the Irish, but it was a bit of a soft goal.
Yes, the attention of Lisa Marie Dietlefs there, perhaps in question, just allowed Evans to get goal side of her towards that ball, made the run towards the near post, beat her marker and tucked the ball away, and Ireland have the lead now, and very much against the run of play from the first half, but certainly not against the run of play at the start of the second half, because Ireland really have been in the ascendancy. And here comes Evans again. She's driving down this left-hand side. She's got Carroll in the centre, looking for the ball, and Mullen on the far right-hand side. But it's Gillian Pinder helping her out on the left-hand side at the moment. And she has won a free hit for Ireland. And it'll go back along the back line. Interesting, Craig, you know, we saw that high press by South Africa just in the couple of minutes before the goal. And I wonder if that just pulled the shape of the defence just out a little bit. There are 5 or 6 South African players right up at the Irish 23, and then there's a big yawning gap before you got to the back three of Dietlefs and Murray and Manson.
That's right, because the ball that they went down to the right-hand corner, which created all the difficulty, travelled almost the whole length of the pitch, and it was deflected eventually by a South African defender out for the free push. But it's be interesting now. Ireland have frequently have to come from behind. The question now is, can they keep their lead in a slightly different situation?
So South Africa just maintaining this, trying to maintain this pressure and force the mistake from the Irish defenders. Taryn Bright in trying to force a mistake currently from Watkins. Chloe Watkins. And this ball now harmlessly and slowly rolls its way out of play on this near hand side. The side that hosts the main stand, the benches, the match officials, and our production team. There's Watkins again in the middle now. She's going to look out right. It's not the worst ball in the world actually from Watkins out right, but Nicola Daly just caught a little bit flat-footed. It did have a lot of pace on it, to be fair to Daly. So Dietlefs now out to Marcel Manson, who finds Shelley Russell. Shelley Russell loves nothing more than just that little space on along the touchline, just to she almost burrows. She almost burrows along the touchline, doesn't she? With that head down. Here's McKay now, looking to shake off the attentions of Taylor. And Again, the South Africans, 6, 7 players pushed up. Gives, if Ireland do get a break, it does give this South African midfield a lot of tracking back to do, Craig.
Yes, the South African midfield haven't actually got a grip of this game in the second half. They've allowed the Irish to dominate, and if you look at the steps of the Irish, there's now a spring in their step, which wasn't there before.
And now the South Africans just sit back a little, just to allow the Irish to play this ball around the back line. And there's a big space in the middle for Chloe Watkins. If she can be found, she has been now. She can turn and pick her spot, and she does so well, and finds Smith, and Smith can turn Shelley Russell, and Smith drives on, and Shelley Russell does her best just to force her into the corner. It's very good defending from Shelley Russell. They're using every bit of that pace. Oh, and I think Mullins thought she'd got the decision her way there for that stick tackle by Manson, but it went the other way. And Cox now has the ball, finds Russell. And Smith down, and that's going to be a card. Oh, Emma Smith not particularly impressed with the decision there of Chen Hong. She's right down in front of us there, just shaking her head and
yeah, she was
incredulous at that decision. Can you sympathise with her?
Well, sort of. She was squawking away, which I think in a bit of disappointment that she's now having a temporary rest. But it's not been in any shape or form a dirty game. In fact, completely the opposite. It's been played in a good spirit, and hopefully that will continue.
Emma Smith enjoys a couple of minutes rest, and for the time being, South Africa will have the numerical advantage. As we approach the halfway point in this, Cox driving the ball into the circle. Not a bad ball in that, actually, Craig, from Cox.
Yeah, there was a good hard cross, but unfortunately there was absolutely nobody there to take advantage of it. But I think South Africa are going to have to be a little bit more inventive. They've had very few opportunities in the second half to score a goal.
So applying the pressure now to Megan Fraser, the captain, who just shows some nous there to get herself out of difficulty. Deetlif's on the ball for South Africa at the back, just lifts the ball over the stick of Evans to Duplessis. Duplessis will come back to Deetlif's, and it'll come back across the back line through Murray and then Manson. And here's Manson now on the ball. Bit of space in front of her, looks up, can't pick the player. But Shelley Russell does a bit of tracking back there to win the ball back for South Africa, and here's Russell again now. Cuts inside, just comes off her foot as she tried to evade Gillian Pinder.
Yeah, South Africa are trying to force the pace a little bit, but they're not making a lot of headway.
Very few options there for Shirley McKay. She looking about, shaking her head. She went for the long ball in the end. It was cut out easily, but she's found Smith now, who's back on the pitch after her temporary absence. Smith was looking to lay it off to Evans, and Evans, I think, possibly just caught ball watching a little there. Smith should intercept that again, and does, and Dirkie Chamberlains loses out. Mullins tries the first time deflection into the circle, into the run of Anna O'Flanagan. But instead it's a South African ball, and Marcia Cox has it in midfield. Big aerial ball out to Kelly Madsen on the right-hand side, and Smith in battling again, and just falling foul of the umpire's whistle a couple of times. Smith is just so much deliberate, it's just a little bit clumsy, perhaps.
Yeah, I think at this level, sometimes things are not as accidental as they look, but...
Am I being too kind? But South Africa again unable to take advantage of that opportunity. That's an excellent aerial ball from Shirley McKay to find Nicola Evans, and great skills from Evans to get away from Kenita Bob. She's all the way into the circle, and there's a chance for Ireland. Oh, and Katie Dillon just there sliding in at the back post, just looking for the opportunity to divert that pass into the net, and it doesn't come off. And I wonder, Craig, if perhaps a shot might have been the better option.
I think a shot would have been a better option, because she was absolutely clean through, a clear opportunity to shoot. She chose to pass the ball, a weighted pass certainly, but I think the weighted pass ended up with the goalkeeper managing to smother the whole thing.
I think
poor option, I think, there.
It would have taken a lot, I think, for Kate Dillon to have found the pace to have generated the pace on that pass to trouble the goalkeeper. But now South Africa have a chance, and Celeste Damons Celeste Damons just looking for that little. She drew the defenders towards her and then just looked to release Dirkie Chamberlains into space, but there was a little tug on the Irish shirt there just to put off the defender, and it was spotted by umpire Chen Hong, and so that resulted in the there you see it just there, and that resulted in the free hit to Ireland.
To be fair to Ireland, it was a brilliant tackle to stop the attack getting any further. She got the ball absolutely cleanly, the Irish defender.
Certainly was. And Captain Fraser battling Kathleen Taylor and Celeste Damons there just to keep possession for Ireland. She does so. And that first time ball by McKay is an excellent one, and it finds Kate Dillon. Kate Dillon's lost the ball, but is dispossessed unfairly, and now Smith can drive on a great hand save, and back across by Dillon. And it'll be out for the, should be Ireland looking for the long corner there, but I think the
cooperation with the umpires there, Jack, got the correct decision, I think.
Yep. I think Maggie Giddens there was indicating that the ball had gone wide and it was a South African ball, but she's been corrected by her counterpart in front of us. And as it happens, it comes to nothing anyway. And now Evans and Taylor with a chance to break for South Africa, but Shirley McKay just absolutely holding her ground and not allowing Taylor a sniff of the ball, Craig.
No, she's recovered very much from her earlier misdemeanour. She's made one or two extremely telling tackles, and that was one.
And there's another great aerial ball from McKay that finds O'Flanagan, and O'Flanagan, who was so busy at the start of this half, has been off for a breather and has been a bit quieter since, is coming back into this game now with some purpose. The ball will come back to McKay's. Lovely trap by McKay there, just the pass wasn't the best one, and that pass there from Megan Fraser wasn't the best one either, and South Africa will have a chance to come at them. And if you're Ireland at this point with just over 12.5 minutes to go, Craig, you're thinking discipline, concentration, and those kind of passes are the sorts of passes that can put you in trouble.
Absolutely, it just needs one faux pas at the back and allowing the South Africans back in the game. But I have to say, I think the Irish look fairly comfortable in their defensive role.
Dirkie Chamberlain's trying the reverse stick pass into the box. Doesn't come off. And Cluna Sargent losing out in the middle of the park, and Shelley Russell now on the left-hand side. Head down, goes for the corner. Will look to turn back, tries to play the ball into Celeste Damons. She's found her, and Damons with the shot comes off Shirley McKay. Shirley McKay shouting for the decision from the umpire, and the umpire has put the decision the other way. Let's take a look at that again, Craig. I have a funny feeling the ball came in at Shirley McKay's chest, but let's see what comes of it. No.
No, the ball appears to come up off the stick of the Irish defender, which creates all the danger. And the umpire has given the penalty corner for that. The Irish defence were in a bit of disarray. They didn't seem to know what they were doing. South Africa's first opportunity, really, to get back into this game.
Have a chance to take a look at that again, but here's the short corner first of all, and it's Evans with the injection. And Dietlefs with a shot. And it goes wide. And the South Africans appealing for the decision there from the umpire. And Chen Hong has obliged. Let's take a look at this again, Craig, on the screen. Difficult to see. Here we might see from this angle what happens behind the goalkeeper's arm. Shot comes in, and that's off an Irish heel as it was goal bound, so that is penalty flag to South Africa. Oh, and Taryn Bright's missed it. And not for the first time in this competition against Ireland. South Africa miss what potentially could be a crucial penalty flick, Craig.
Absolutely. You can't, at this level of hockey, miss from the spot and hope to win the game. The award appeared to be that the ball was going goal bound. It came off the leg of the defender.
And that'll be another short corner because that's again off the leg of the Irish defender. And this time the transgressor, as we see a replay, the penalty flick. It's a weak penalty flick, Craig, isn't it? I mean,
it's a very
good height for the goalkeeper and not finding the corner.
Yeah, if you're going to score from penalty strokes, it's either got to be low and hard or high into the roof of the net. That's a absolutely ideal height for the goalkeeper. But you still got to stop it at the end of the day, but a poor effort.
Certainly was a poor effort, but a chance to make amends. Evans again with the put in here for Ireland, and it's Duplessis this time that goes for goal, and an excellent save by Emma Gray, and goals for Ireland. Diving low to her right. It wasn't the most powerful shot we've seen, but it was on target and it required the save. And now Ireland have the chance to break. It's Daly, sorry, Carroll, my apologies, coming away with the ball there. So, all controversy over. Chances galore there for South Africa. Penalty flick and two short corners, but the score remains, Craig, Ireland 2, South Africa 1.
Yes, at this level, you can't really afford to miss set pieces. They've had 2 penalty corners. The first one resulted in a stroke, and the second one was not a very convincing effort.
Might be a chance here for Dirkie Chamberlain, but she's lifted that ball high and wide. Good ball into the circle there from Celeste Damons. But again, it comes to nothing now. Sargent, that's a great ball up to Mullen on this left-hand side. Long ball, just taking the midfield out completely. Good defending by Marcel Manson, though. She was alert to the danger, and she forced Mullins out wide, and South Africa have the ball back now. And Smith again in there battling. That's a better, cleaner tackle that time from Smith. Cox now. Up against both Evans and Mullen. Should be up against Mullen again here. And that's a waste. That's a wasteful ball from the South African captain. The eyes were down there. At no point did she look to pick a pass. I think just assuming that one of her teammates would be down in that position.
Yes, it may have been a move from the training ground, but you've really got to have somebody up there to make any effect of it. Cox has not been the influential player in this game she has been in previous ones.
There she is on your screen, looking for this ball on the right-hand side, and gets it. To look to drive past Smith, and she does get the ball in, and that's a great shot, and it's off the bar from South Africa. Great shot by Celia Evans from South Africa, and the umpire explaining to Shirley McKay that the attempted clearance there by Ireland was dangerous, and that's now resulted in a short corner for South Africa.
Well, she seemed to... Yeah, the ball ricochets off the bar, going out, leaving everybody cold. The umpire, I couldn't see it there, but the umpire seemed to indicate that she had batted it. But of course, you can play the ball above your shoulder anywhere on the pitch.
Well, the net result is another chance for Evans to put the ball in. This time it's Dietlefs And there's a deflection, a little nick there. I think of the stick of Dirkie Chamberlain's looking for the corner, and it's just wide of the post, and another chance goes begging for South Africa. Let's take a look again. Yes, it is indeed. It's Dirkie Chamberlain's looking just to guide that ball from Detlefs into the corner, and she just puts it wide of the post. And I have to say, I think both defenders and goalkeeper were stranded there, so you have to put that down as a really good opportunity missed there for Chamberlain.
Yes, no, it was a good opportunity, but the move just didn't work out, and that's South Africa have now had 4 or 5 good chances to score, and yet they haven't found the net. It's
the Cox again looking for that ball into the middle, doesn't find it. Here's Evans. Oh, she's gone the wrong way there, Evans. She looked to Anna Flanagan on the right when Dillon and Watkins were both, and Smith were all out on this left-hand side. Plenty of options on the left there. Cragen just picked the wrong option.
Yes, I think it's now become a crucial time for South Africa. If they're going to get back into this game, they're going to have to be sharper in the circle.
So 4-5 now, South African players looking to press inside the Irish 23. It's Du Plessis leading the fight against Mackay. Mackay thunderously hammering that in the direction of Du Plessis, who jumps and gets her stick in the way.
I think the coach is suggesting that the player was not 5 metres away. I think that was what's causing a bit of frustration.
Well, it'll be Mackay's ball again on this left flank for Ireland. She's demonstrated aerial ability on a couple of occasions. She does so again. Cox misses it. Smith picks it up, and Smith has space to play in. Dillon down this left-hand side. Just a little flick off the stick of Detlefs there. Giles Bonet, the South African coach, patrolling the touchline, barking instructions to his charges. They're running out of time if they want to get back into this Champions Challenge semi-final. Fraser now, lovely ball, just takes Du Plessis out the game to Shirley Mackay. Shirley Mackay dawdling on the ball just a little bit. Needed to find an option, couldn't. And now South Africa have it with Shelley Russell, and it's a great ball to Kathleen Taylor out on the left-hand side. Taylor now with the ball, and Taylor will put the ball into the middle, but she lifts it far too high. A let-off of sorts there for Ireland, although, again, they all did their bit, the Irish defence. They were back in numbers, tracking back, looking to protect this lead.
Yeah, they're doing very well so far at the back in Ireland. There's just a little bit of lack of concentration. The cross was dangerous and too high.
So, Craig, just over 3.5 minutes to go. Not wanting to prejudge the result of this game, but going to ask you to start having a think about your player of the match. You don't need to tell us right now, but maybe in about a minute's time, with a minute to go, 30 seconds to go, it'd be good to hear your thoughts on player of the match at the end of this game. So 3 minutes, just under 3 minutes on the clock, and Celeste Damons with space to run into down this left-hand side now for South Africa. Looks to cut inside. She gets the decision from the umpire, but she was going nowhere there, I have to say. And that's still a little bit indisciplined there from Ireland to concede so cheaply. Cox looks to go into the D, and again it's blocked, and Watkins can only just release the ball into space, not near an Irish player. At this point, it's just get it out if you can. Dillon battles with Cox, backs away, and Cox again will look to drive the ball, and again she can't find a player, but it's come to Bright, and Bright can, and there's a a chance there for Evans diving in, but what brilliant defending from Emma Smith, throwing herself down in front of the ball and taking the applause of these Irish fans. A really super dive in to deflect the ball away. Brave defending from the Centurion, and you can see why she's earned every one of her 100 caps. Here's Manson now, and Manson's given the ball away to Dillon, and there's a 3-on-3 if Ireland can take advantage of it. Dillon's laid the ball off to Carroll and now to Smith, and Smith's going down this left-hand side, and Dillon half backs off but doesn't really give her an outlet there, and Carroll now intercepts for Ireland, and she has the ball. And Murray and Manson combine to dispossess her, and Cox comes away with it, and she'll look left for Shelley Russell. No, she won't. She'll turn back right, and Taylor's possibly just gone too far down that right-hand wing, and Cox is left all on her own. She'll get the decision from the umpire and come away again, and she looks to go into. She looks to go down to Taylor on that right-hand side. Taylor's now moved to the middle, and Dammons is tackled. And O'Flanagan has the ball now for Ireland. And Smith outside her, but O'Flanagan goes on her own. What an exciting young talent she is. She's won the decision, and Ireland can calm it down with 30 seconds to go, but still O'Flanagan's looking for the aerial ball. She almost gets it. McKay there again with showing that aerial prowess, Craig, that we've seen throughout this game. And Smith now, she'll just go to the corner. She doesn't care. She's going to slap that into the corner and hope that the clock runs down. Just over 10 seconds to go. The clock counts down from 15 now, and again that's intercepted by Fraser. What a game she's had as well in the centre, and McKay tackled, lets the ball run out of play. There's just seconds left on the clock, and the Irish players stream onto the pitch. The substitutes stream onto the pitch in celebration because they have defeated South Africa by 2-1 here in Glasgow. What a fantastic result for Ireland. And the Irish fans off to our left, cheering, arms aloft. What support they've given these Irish girls today, and they've rewarded that support with a magnificent second half performance, Craig Madden.
Yes, if you look at the body language of the South Africans, they're devastated, but they've contributed to their own downfall. In the second half, Ireland commanded the game. They could and should have perhaps scored more goals than the one that they got. But at the other end, when it came down to the crucial factor, the set piece, penalty corners, of which I think there were 3, and the penalty stroke, all of these were missed, and that is where the South Africans shot themselves in the foot.
Yes, so many chances in that second half for South Africa that went begging, not least the penalty flick, as Craig says. But take nothing away from this Irish team. They showed commitment, they showed heart, they showed no shortage of skill as well. And players like Anna O'Flanagan, as we saw at the end there, just still so bright, still so full of running, still offering options to their teammates to get out. And the Irish team come over to the stand just in which we are positioned to celebrate with their fans and return the applause of their supporters, because these Irish fans have really come out in numbers, Craig, and shown great support for their team.
Yes, this is always the case. The Irish supporters are always at the tournaments. They're always very vociferous, and they give the team a huge lift, and it was a contributing factor today. But I was also very impressed by the Irish long balls. They created...
Sorry, just to interrupt you, Craig, because we will have to come off here soon. Just I asked you to have a think about who your player of the match was. Who have you selected?
My player of the match was Shirley McKay.
So Shirley McKay for Ireland's number 10 is the man of the match, and we'll wait to see if Mike Stanger can get hold of her down in pitchside for a couple of words. Craig, just to talk about that choice, first of all, obviously McKay was at fault for the South African goal, but you felt that she did so much after that to make up for that earlier mistake that she still wins player of the match. In fact, we can go down to Mike Stanger now, and he's pitch side with Shirley.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, we're just ecstatic. It's a bit of a surreal feeling at the minute to go into the tournament ranked 7th and end up in the final. So we're really proud of what we've done. Hopefully we can go all the way tomorrow.
Because your earlier performances right at the beginning were perhaps just not quite as good as today's.
Yeah, it was just a dress rehearsal for the real thing.
A dress rehearsal. Well, it was very tenacious of Ireland today, but it was a bit nerve-wracking 10 minutes from the end when you conceded a penalty.
Yeah, we were under the cosh a little bit, and we know the quality South Africa have on their side, so we just hung in there and kept going. So
who are you playing tomorrow? Do you know yet? You don't. Do you?
Winners of Spain and.
I can't remember. No. Anyway,
we'll
good
take
luck.
it. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So Mike Stanger there down on pitch side with our player of the match, Shirley McKay, and yeah, I mean, just you get that sense just of slight disbelief, but almost at the same time, Craig, Shirley McKay is one of those players who shows complete belief throughout a match that a game is never beyond them, that they can always find the victory, and I think she epitomised that today.
Yes, I think the word I would use is courage. You give away a goal in the early part of the game, it can devastate some players, but she came back, she played with courage, she played with conviction, she bottled up that right-hand flank of the South African attack. Some of her distribution was first class, both in the aerial ball and also on the ground.
Yes, it certainly was. Well, let's just remind ourselves of some of the highlights of that second half. We'll take a look at the highlights again. You can see Shirley McKay there just shaking her head up above the cheeks and probably close to tears. So here's Mullen driving. This was the second Irish goal, Craig. Mullen driving along the line, and you can see there the two South African players that Evans was able to just sneak in between on that move towards the near post. Just finds look at that, just finds the gap between the two South Africans and is able to finish past Dietlius, who really will not enjoy looking at that again.
Yes, there were two South African defenders there, but to be honest, they didn't actually do anything, and I think that is part of the problem. If they had tried to either intercept the ball or tackle the Irish forward just before she put the ball in the goals, then perhaps the goal might not have happened. To me, it was a soft one to concede.
And then, of course, the biggest chance of the second half for South Africa came from the penalty flick. And we saw earlier in the tournament, in fact, I think it was the Irish game, was it not, in the first game of the pool stages, and Marcia Cox took the responsibilities, as a captain does, for the penalty flick, and that was saved by Emma Gray, and she repeated the trick again here. Well, here, sorry, we can look at the short corner first of all, and this was the shot that went wide, and all the South African players went up for the shout. It was goal bound, it came off the foot. You can see there the clenched fist of Shelley Russell, and then immediately following that, obviously, was the penalty flick. I'm not sure if we're going to see that again. It should be the next highlight on the list if the director's paying attention. I'm not sure he is. Anyway, Craig, and Emma Gray repeating the trick of saving, but this time from Taryn Bright. And it's two penalty flicks we've seen from South Africa with 0 result, and they're going to have to go away and work on their technique.
Yeah, I think they need to go back to the training ground with that. Both of the penalties that Jackie was talking about were there's no question about the decision, but the execution of the penalty by the South Africans was poor. They were both carbon copies. The perfect height for the goalkeeper, not at a particular speedy pace, and it is surprising at this level to see two poor penalty executions.
Certainly is, but poor they were, and South Africa have paid the price. So, first result of the semi-finals is now known to us. We now know who the first of our finalists will be. It will be Ireland. Who will they be playing in the final? We shall find out shortly, because we are back in just under as I look at my watch, just about exactly 20 minutes time, with coverage exclusively on FIH TV of the second semi-final, and that's between Spain and the United States. That starts, in fact, I tell a lie, 25 minutes, it's more like 40 minutes. Begins at 4:15 British Summer Time. That's 3:15 GMT if you're watching in the United States or Spain. A fascinating encounter coming up, and we hope you will join us then. We'll leave you with an image of Shirley McKay, our player of the match, as Ireland progress to the final with a 2-1 win over South Africa. From me, Jack McGill, from Craig Madden, and from everybody here at the International Hockey Centre in Glasgow. I hope you'll have a very good afternoon.
The buzz is just unbelievable just now. It's back in my hometown in Troon, everybody's talking about it, and just hopefully I can be part of that Scotland team, and if I am, it'll be a memory I'll never forget.
Since joining Scottish Gymnastics to compete at the Commonwealth Games, it's going to be my first Commonwealth Games, and no better place to do it than in my home country.
Commonwealth Games are really the only time you get to represent Scotland on its own, and yeah, it's really special. It's like your own little family, really, when you're on the team. Go Scotland!
Do you know what? I don't think there'll be anything to beat it. You know, I competed at the London Olympics, and that was really special, but Glasgow, I think, will just be something else. Go Scotland!
It's very important, Ken, to have the backing of the community, the country and that. I'd like folk to get behind you and enjoy what you're doing and appreciate what you do, Ken. That's what I hard work's for. Go Team Scotland!
I think it's really important that people back Team Scotland. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for everyone to come together and support the team.
There's obviously going to be a great buzz around the city, and we're really looking forward to having these spectators come out and see netball. Netball's not one of the most profile sports that we've got here, so we're really looking forward to seeing how we can really engage with the spectators and show what netball's all about. Go Scotland!
Oh, the support will be huge. If everyone turns up, it's going to be a great atmosphere. There's nothing better than playing on a badminton court with the whole crowd behind you. It's a really great feeling, and I really hope to experience it.
Being from Glasgow myself, nothing more that you want to do in your career. Homegrown, in your city, all your friends, family can all come and watch. There's nothing really more you want. Go Scotland!
Being in judo, it's an individual sport, but when you're in that fight and if you're down the score, if you just need that extra lift. With Glasgow 2014 coming up and the massive Scottish team that we're going to have in Glasgow, it feels like a family. Go Scotland!
It's a huge honour, and it's a pinnacle of anyone's career. I was fortunate enough to play back in Melbourne a few years ago now, where the whole experience was incredible. I'm sure that Glasgow can look to emulate that.
The atmosphere in Delhi was great, even when we're halfway across the world. So to imagine what it's going to be like in Glasgow when we're in front of a home crowd, it's going to be twice as good. Go Scotland!
This will be my first Games, and it'll be a home game, so for me, it's, as much as it's a cliche, it will be a dream come true, and just to have that support and to have my family and friends support me at home games, it means everything to me. Go Scotland!